Radharani Mataji, when you're ready, you can start, Mataji. Sorry, I think I was in mute, right? Please accept my humble obeisances, all devotees. All goes to Guru Maharaj Sri Prabhupada.
Sure, Prabhuji, thank you so much. Hare Krishna to all dear devotees. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam. Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet. नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवते उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. So today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 9, titled Prahlad pacifies Lord Narasimhadev with the prayers. Text 11. The Supreme Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is always fully satisfied in Himself. Therefore, when something is offered to Him, the offering by the Lord's mercy is for the benefit of the devotee. For the Lord does not need service from anyone. To give an example, if one's face is decorated, the reflection of one's face in the mirror is also seen to be decorated. Text 1. Therefore, although I was born in a demonic family, I may, without a doubt, offer prayers to the Lord with full endeavor, as far as my intelligence allows. Anyone who has been forced by ignorance to enter the material world may be purified of the material life if he offered prayers to the Lord and hears the Lord glories. Text 13. O my Lord, all the demigods headed by the Lord Brahma are the sincere servants of your Lordship who are situated in the transcendental position. Therefore, they are not like us, Prahalad and his father, the demon Hiranyakashipu. Your appearance in this fearsome form is your pastime for your own pleasure. Such an incarnation is always meant for the protection and the improvement of the universe. Text 14. My Lord Narasimhadev, please therefore release your anger now that my father, the great demon Hiranyakashipu, has been killed, since even saintly person take pleasure in the killing of a scorpion or a snake. All the worlds have achieved the great satisfaction because of the death of this demon. Now they are confident of their happiness and they will always remember your auspicious incarnation in order to be free from fear. Text 15. My Lord, you are never conquered by anyone. I am certainly not afraid of your I'm certainly not afraid of your fearsome mouth and tongue, your eyes bright like the sun, or your hovering eyebrows. I do not fear your sharp pinching teeth, your garlands of intestines, your mane soaked with blood, or your higher widget like ears. Nor do I fear your tremendous roaring, which makes elephant feel to flee to distant place, or your nails, which are meant to kill your enemies. Text 16. O most powerful, in insurmountable Lord, you are kind to the fallen souls. I have been put into the association of the demons as a result of my activities, and therefore I am very much afraid of my condition of life within this material world. When will that moment come when you will call me to the shelter of your lotus feet, which are the ultimate goals for liberation from conditional life? Text 17. O great one, O supreme Lord, because of the combination with pleasing and displeasing circumstance, and because of the separation from them, one is placed in a most regrettable position within heavenly or hellish planet, as if burning in a fire of lamentation. Although there are many remedies by which to get out of the miserable life, any such remedies in the material world are most miserable and the miseries themselves. Therefore, I think that the only remedy is to engage in your service. Kindly instruct me in such service. Text 18. O my Lord Nasima, Dev, by engaging in your transcendental loving service in the association of the devotees who are liberated souls, Hamsas, I shall become completely uncontaminated by the association of the three modes of material nature and be able to chant the glories of your Lordship, who are so dear to me. I shall chant your glories, following exactly in the footsteps of Lord Brahma and his disciple succession. In this way, I shall undoubtedly be able to cross the ocean of the nescience. Text 19. My Lord Nasimadev, O Supreme, because of the bodily conception of life, embodied souls neglected and not cared for by you cannot do anything for their betterment. Whatever remedies they accept, although perhaps temporarily beneficial, are certainly imperimented. For example, a father and mother cannot protect their child. A physician and the medicine cannot relieve a suffering patient, and a boat on the ocean cannot protect a drowning man. Text 20th. My dear Lord, everyone in this material world is under the modes of material nature, being influenced by the goodness, passion, and ignorance. Everyone from the greatest personality, the Lord Brahma, down to the small ant, works under the influence of these modes. Therefore, everyone in this material world is influenced by your energy, the cause for which they work, the place where they work, the time when they work, the matter due to which they work, the goal of life they have considered finally, and the process of obtaining this goal. All are nothing but the manifestation of your energy. Indeed, since the energy and the energetic are identical, all of them are but manifestation of you. Text 21. Lord, O Supreme Eternal, by expanding your plenary portion, you have created the substantial body of the living entities through the agency of your eternal energy, which is agitated by time. Thus, the mind entraps the living entity in the ultimate varieties of desire to be fulfilled by the Vedic directions of karma kanda, fruitive activity, and the 16th elements. Who can get free from this entanglement unless he takes shelter at your lotus feet. Text 22. My dear Lord, O Supreme Great, you have created this material world of 16 constitutions, but you are the transcendental of their material qualities. In other words, these material qualities are under your full control and you are never conquered by them. Therefore, the time element is your representation. My Lord, O Supreme, no one can conquer you. As for me, however, I am being crushed by the wheels of time, and therefore I surrender fully unto you. Now kindly take me under the protection of your lotus feet. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Please accept my humble obeisances. All good Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. And today we are discussing the section from chapter 9. And thank you, Radharani Mataji, for reading today's translations. This chapter's title, Pralad pacifies Lord Narsimhadeva with prayers. And this is part of the ninth chapter, 7th canto. And we are discussing today from verse number 12 to 22nd. So Narsimhadev has appeared just to prove his devotees, pure devotees' statement that Lord is present everywhere. Just to prove that to the demon and atheistic people, Lord has appeared. And also for the protection, just to protect the Lord, Prahlad Maharaj, Lord has taken this form just for one devotee. So that shows the causeless nature of merciful nature of Bhaktavatsaliata, the affection towards the devotees of Lord Narsimhadev. So the prayers of exalted prayers of Prahlad Maharaj have begun, And these are such a wonderful prayers. Now that it is 7:10, let me take at least 25 minutes. 7:35, I will conclude, and I'll try to recite the prayers a little bit here and there, whichever are very exalted. And all these prayers are wonderful. I'll start with verse number 12. So here, Prahlad Maharaj is praying. Tasmadaham vigata viklava ishvarasya sarvatmana mahi grunami yatha manisham nicho jaya guna visargamanu pravishta uyetayena hi pumananu varnitena. So Prahlada's confusions are gone. Since the Lord is pleased by bhakti, not by his position, not that he is descendant of demons. His position as a, is pleased by the bhakti, not by the position of good birth and wealth. So with this confidence, Prahlad Maharaj is singing this verse. So respecting Lord is beneficial for all. And Prahlada has decided to praise the Lord's glories, though he thinks he's unqualified. And so what is Prahlad Maharaj saying? Tasmadaham vigata viklava ishvara. So therefore, having given up the contemplation of being unfit, I offer my obeisances unto you. Sarvatmana, I with the full surrender and endeavor, as far as my intelligence allows, which is Manishina, Mahi Gurunami, your glories I'll glorify you. Anyone who has been forced by ignorance, Nicho Ajaya, that means someone who has failed in his life. Nicho, who is in the lowest position. Gunavisargaman, so who has entered this material world which is full of three gunas. Gunavisargam Anupravishta, who has entered such a person. Puyetayena hi pumana nuvarnitena. So he's also counting himself in that. Maybe just purified of this material life if he offers obeisances unto you and prayers unto you. All glories to you. So devotees do not need, devotees do not need to be born in a very high family. So Jai Srila Prabhupada, now the purport is saying, devotees do not need to be born in a very high family. It is clearly understood that a devotee does not need to be born in a high family. None of these qualifications will engage one in devotional service. Only on this basis, just by engaging uh, on a consciousness or a mood that, oh, God is great. I am very small. Therefore, my duty is to offer obeisances to the Lord. Just by being in this consciousness, one can understand and render service unto the Lord. So, the Bhagavad Gita 18.55, Bhaktya Mam Vijanati. One can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead only by devotional service. So, with that process of devotional service, one can enter the kingdom of God, get closer to Krishna. So, 13th verse actually, if you see, Sarvehami vidikaras tava sattvadhamno. So, he's requesting Lord to give up his anger in this verse and next verse. And so here the devatas are not fearful like us, he's saying. They are your servants situated in sattva guna like Brahma and Indra and so on. They are exalted. They are not fearful like us, we demons. Your pleasing incarnations, Ruchira Vataraihi. So what is your pleasing incarnations are, and your pastimes are for your own pleasure, Atma Sukhaya, and for the protection and prosperity, Kshemaya, of the universe. So he's saying, so Sarvehami vidikaras tava sattvadhamno Kshemaya bhutayuta atma sukhaya chasya vikriditam bhagavato ruchiravataraihi. So Sarvehami vidikaras tava sattvadhamno brahmadayo vayam iveshana chodvijantaha. Oh my Lord, all the demigods headed by Lord Brahma are your sincere devotees, he's saying, right? So they are not fearful like us. And just for Kshemaya Bhuta Yavuta, Atma Sukhaya Chasya. Your appearance is for two reasons. One is for your own pleasure, and second is to protect and improvement of the whole universe. And therefore, appearance of your lordship are very pleasing incarnations. Vikriditam Bhagavato Ruchiravatara. Such pastimes are those of Narasimhadeva are certainly not meant to create a fearful situation. Prahlad Maharaj is saying in the last line, Vikriditam Bhagavato Ruchiravatara, by saying they are very pleasing. Your avatars are very pleasing. They are not meant to create fearful situation for devotees. But nonetheless, devotees being very simple and faithful were afraid of fierce incarnation. Therefore, Prahlada requests Lord to give up his anger. When the Supreme Lord appears in this material world in his various incarnations, he performs two functions: saving the devotee and vanquishing the demon. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha duskrutam. So here in the 14th verse, in the same context, your present form causes fearlessness. So please give up anger. Yes, dear Narsimha, Tadyachamanyumasurascha hatastvayadya. So today, your appearance, Tadyachamanyum, yacha, please give up your anger, manyum. Now that you have killed the demon Hiranyakashipu today, Modeta sadura pivruschika sarpa hacha. Even saintly persons take pleasure in killing venomous serpent and a venomous scorpion, and because they are envious and unnecessarily give suffering to people. Lokascha nirvrutimita pratiyanti sarve. All the worlds have achieved itaha. So all the worlds have achieved great satisfaction because of the death of this demon Hiranyakashipu. Now they are waiting for the pacification of your anger. Pratiyanti. They're waiting. So, Rupam Nrusimha Vibhayam Janasmaranti. They will always remember your auspicious form of Narsimadev in order to be free from fear. Just to come out of fear, they will always remember your auspicious form of Narsimadev. Rupam Nrusimha Vibhayaya Janasmaranti. So Prahlad Maharaj is emphasizing the Narsimadev's fearful form is meant to give fearlessness now and forever. And it is not for causing fear in them, and not to cause fear in the devotees. Although saintly persons never desire the killing of any living entity. Modeta sadhurapi vrushchika sarpahatya, it was mentioned, right? Though it doesn't mean saintly persons desire killing living entities, stating they are envious, we would like to kill them. No. Prabhupada says they take pleasure in the killing of envious living entities, and because here in this context, Hiranyakashipu was mentioned to be killed, is worse than a snake and a scorpion, and therefore everyone was happy. That's why it was mentioned like that. Prahlad is saying Tadyacha Manyum. Now there, no need for Lord to be angry because this envious, dangerous demon Hiranyakashipu has already left his body. Narsimadev killed him. No need for further angry. So the devotees can always remember the form of Narsimhadev, Prabhupada says, when they are in danger. And therefore, the appearance of Narsimhadev was not all inauspicious. It's not inauspicious. Because he is having the fearful form doesn't mean he's inauspicious. He's supremely auspicious for all persons and devotees. Naham. So now Prahlad Maharaj is seeking the Lord's shelter in the next verse, 15th verse. And devotees are not afraid of Lord's fearful form. So he's now seeking the shelter of Lord's lotus feet. So in 15th verse, he's saying, Naham bibeti, I am not afraid of you. Naham bibeti ajitate ati bhayanakasya. Oh, unconquerable Lord, Ajita, I am not afraid of your most ferocious mouth. Ati bhayanaka asya mouth. Jihvarka netra bhrukuti rasabhogra damstrat. Tongue bright, sun-like eyes. Arka netra. Frowning eyebrows. Bhrukuti rasabhogra damstrat. Sharp and pinching teeth. Antrasrajakshata jakeshara shanku karnan. Garland of Hiranyakashipu's intestines with bloody mane, with Kshatrajakeshara, Shanku Karnan, or his high wedge-like ears. Nor do I fear your tumultuous roaring, which makes the guarding elephants flee, or your nails that pierce the enemy. Devotee always takes pleasure in worshipping the Lord and glorifying the Lord in any form, either pleasing or fierce, Prabhupada says. Lord Narasimhadeva's fierce appearance was certainly most dangerous for the non-devotees, but for Prahlad Maharaj, such a fearful appearance was not at all disturbing. The lion is very fearsome for other animals, but its cubs are not at all afraid of the lion. They climb over his head, right? Mother's head and father's head. So the water of the sea is certainly dreadful for a living entity who is supposed to be living in the land. But within the sea, even a small fish is unafraid. And why? Because the small fish has taken shelter of big ocean. Similarly here, now the devotee is not afraid of Lord's fearful form. Why? Because he has taken shelter of his lotus feet. It is said that although great elephants are taken away by the flooding waters of the river, when floods hit, when tumultuous flood waters hit any area, everything is washed out. But small fish, they are not killed. Elephants are killed, but small fishes are not killed. They can even swim opposite to the current also. Therefore, although Lord sometimes assumes a fierce appearance to kill the Duskrutinas, who are like Moodhas, the devotees worship him. So, Keshavadruta Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadish Hare. The devotee always takes pleasure in worshipping the Lord, glorifying the Lord in any form, either pleasing or fierce. So the 16th verse, I am afraid of conditioned life. I need your shelter. Now he is representing Prahlad Maharaj in this verse. He is representing a conditioned soul and praying. Uh, Trashtosmaham Krupanavat Dussahogra. O Lord, who are kind to the fallen souls. Krupana I am afraid of intolerable and ferocious Dosarogra. Not your form. What is intolerable and ferocious I'm mentioning here? Samsara Chakra Kadana Grasatam Pranita. Cycle of birth and death. Samsara Chakra Kadana. And from such a miserable condition, Kadanat, I am thrown, Pranita, into this association of devouring demons, conditional living entities, Grasatam. Conditions also devour one another. I'm thrown into their association. You kindly protect me. You see how exalted. He's not saying this material world is full of miseries. Please pull me out here, of here. That is not his mood. He's saying this demonic association, this material world, who is actually trying to be a better sense gratifier than an other one all the times. The tug of war. That is what Prahlad Maharaj is actually having concern about. The restlessness of living entities, fighting one another. Baddhasvakarma bhirushat tamatengrimulam, bound by the reactions of my past deeds. Who is he blaming for his own miseries that he is explaining in the earlier? He is blaming himself, his own past karma. Baddhasvakarma bhirushat tamatengrimulam, to shelter of your lotus feet, tengrimulam. Pritopavarga sharanam vayase kadano. So, being pleased with me, Prito, when will you call me? Havayase kadano. which is the ultimate goal of liberation. Apavarga Sharanam. Now, here one may ask why the living entity is put into the material world. Indeed, sometimes foolish people deride the Lord that he has been put into that condition by the Lord himself, into that miserable situation. Actually, everyone is put into conditioned life according to his own karma, Prabhupada says. Now, Prahlad Maharaj is not himself is a conditioned soul to pray like this. He is representing conditioned souls and admits that he is put into this condition because of his own past karma. So the Lord is extremely anxious to deliver the conditioned soul. That's why, therefore, he is instructing all of us to return home, back to Godhead, Sarva Dharman Parityajya. By following this instruction of Krishna, Mamekam Sharanam Vraja, surrendering to Krishna alone. Thus, Prahlad Maharaj expected that the Lord, by his kindness, would call him again to the shelter of his lotus feet. In other words, everyone should be eager to go back to go home Godhead. And how? By taking shelter of lotus feet of Krishna. How is that possible when Krishna is physically not present? By taking shelter under bona fide Guru. So, 17th verse, material dualities and measurable remedies. So here it is said, remedies in the material world are more measurable than the miseries themselves. Prabhupada is saying in the translation, Yasmad priya priya viyoga samyoga janma shokagnina sakala yonishu dahyamanaha dus dukkaushadam tadapi dukkam atadhyaham bhuman brahmami vadame tavadasya yogam. These wonderful verses, these are all. So here, because of this material existence, I'm experiencing pleasing, displeasing circumstances. I like it, I don't like it. So these are the two possible situations of our mind, right? Now it is I'm experiencing the pleasing and displeasing circumstances, dualities, and separation and meeting with friends and enemies. Yasmat priya apriya viyoga samyoga janma. I am suffering in every form of life as if burning in the fire of lamentation. Shokagnina sakala yonishu dahyamanaha. So now the remedies of, okay, I have these measures in this material world, and living entities, what are they doing? They are all busy with their inventing the remedies for them, right? Dukkaushadam tadapi dukkam atadhyaham. And what are the nature of such remedies? The remedies for the material miseries are more miserable than the miseries themselves. Dukkha aushadam, which is medicine for such dukkha. Dukkham atadhyaham. They are more atadhya. They are more even measurable than dukkha itself. Dukkham atadhyaham. So, because tat, you know, at, tad. Here it is also indicated the grammatical means of me and mind consciousness. Because of the me and mind consciousness, the dukkham came. And the remedy they are trying to introduce is also material remedy. So it is not effective. So in that such circumstances, Bhuman Brahmami Vadame Tavadasi Yogam. O great Lord, Bhuman, kindly instruct me who is wandering in the cycle of birth and death in your divine service. Dasya Yogam. The only remedy for the material miseries is to render service to Supreme Lord. Whether one is in the heavenly or hellish planets, or in the rich or the poor man situation, no material condition is pleasing. Don't think, oh, I am rich. I'm in a better condition than this person who is poor. No. No material condition is pleasing, Prahlad Maharaj is saying. The material life, both misery and happiness are ultimately miserable. If one wants uncontaminated pleasure, he must engage in the Lord's service. This is the solution that he's going to give in the next verses. Entire world is under illusion that people will be happy by advancing in materialistic measures to counteract the miseries of conditioned life. But this attempt will never be successful, Prabhupada says. For that, humanity must be trained to engage in transcendental loving service of the Lord. That is the purpose of Krishna consciousness movement. The next verse is Soham Priyasya Suhruda Paradevataya. So, devotee's life and duty is to glorify the Lord in parampara. So that is the context of this verse. Lord might say to Prahlad, so you are asking to attain service to me, in still you should seek out some other solution for the material miseries. So when Prahlad revealed some anger and pride now, no, I don't want material solutions. So he is completely dependent on this Bhakti Yoga, Dasya Yoga he mentioned earlier. He's confident about it. He's asked. So he's mentioning, so ham priyasya suhruda pratidevata paradevata Leela katas tavan Nrsimha virincha Gita. Oh, my dear Lord Narsimadev, my dear most well-wisher, I chant your glories. Leela katas tava, following the footsteps of Lord Brahma, Guru Parampara, disciplic succession. See, here, this is the important point. When I am connected to Guru Parampara, it might appear that I am doing this service, which appear like material activity, but take it here for Prahlad's statement that it is glorious. If you are in that position of serving a Guru Parampara and following the instructions of Guru Parampara. Anjas titarmi anugrunan guna vipramukto. By such glorification, anugrunan, I shall easily, by following the Guru Parampara footsteps, I shall easily anjas be purified of the contamination of material modes. Guna vipramukto and cross titamis. So Prahlad Maharaj is expressing the confidence in his position in following the footsteps of Guru Parampara. Durga Nite Pada Yuga Laya Hamsa Sangha. Overall, the miserable conditions of life, I shall serve you in association of liberated soul, devotees, Hamsa Sangha, who are fully absorbed in meditation. Your lotus feet, Pada Yuga Laya. So, there are so many excellent points. So, let me skip to the 19th verse. Balasya Neha Sharanam Bitrau Nrasimha. So, he's saying Lord Narsimhadev is the only shelter. Prahlad Maharaj is emphasizing. Because a father and mother cannot protect their child. Nartasya chagadam udanmati majjato. Now, a doctor in medicine cannot relieve a patient. A boat on the ocean cannot protect a drowning man. Taptasya tatpratividiryena ihanja seshthas. The remedies accepted by people in this world are not shelter at all. Tavad vibhotanubrutam tadupekshitanam. Because if they are ignored by you, upekshitayam, how can they be protected? So take shelter of Lord Narasimhadev. That is what Prahlad Maharaj is indicating in this verse. So there may be beneficial, material solutions may be beneficial temporarily, but they afford no permanent benefit. Prabhupada says, therefore, unless one is protected by the mercy of the Lord, no remedial measure can act effectively. What is the example? Despite the presence of father and mother, child cannot be protected from accidental death. Disease and various other measures, no one can help, including the parents and including the doctors. Sometimes if doctors can protect everyone, why would be patients dying? So no one can protect. So there is no use of having a boat if the boat alone is not sufficient for a drowning man to be rescued. So protection is coming only through Lord, dependence on Lord Narasimhadev. Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi are the real problems of the life. So that here Prabhupada is highlighting, don't think this Prahlad is praying for small problems. He's actually indicating these main problems of life. So Prabhupada indicates in the history of the world, no one has been successful in conquering these miseries imposed by material nature. So-called scientists, philosophers, religionists, politicians should therefore also join Krishna conscious movement because they themselves cannot offer solutions. In general, they also need to come and take part in this movement and help out with the real solution for the people. So see, this is the invitation, open invitation by Srila Prabhupada. Why should they propagate? Our humble attempt, because it's the only remedy. Krishna consciousness is the only remedy that can bring peace and happy life. That's why. So next verse is very complicated in terms of grammar. So your energies manifest everything. What he is saying is basically why the conditioned souls cannot do anything for their betterment. He's giving a reason in this verse. Because you are the energy who is acting on them. cause for which the people work, you are the reason for which the place they work for, the time where they work, the goal of their life. Everything is you only. Ultimately, you are the controller of all these things. Process of obtaining that goal, people having the goal, and what is the ultimate goal of life. Everything is in your control. That's why whatever one thinks himself protected by his parents, government, and so on, that is not real protection. The words of Yasmin, Yato, Yerhi, etc. indicate whatever there may be, all these activities are but different features of Supreme Lord of. So if you surrender to that controller, all your problems are solved. So in 21 and 22, what is being discussed is your shelter liberates us from Maya. If I am the form of everything, then I am also samsara. Narsimhadev says, why do you then want liberation from samsara? Prahlad Maharaj answering that in verses 21 and 22, saying, your shelter liberates us from Maya by your Purusha expansion, uh, by following the Vedic directions and 16 elements. Thus, the mind entraps living. So, he's explaining the mind entraps the living entity with the Vedic instructions and the allurements of benedictions and 16 elements. So if that is so, if Maya, if mind is trapping us, and who is the creator of that mind? Lord Himself. If one has to control that mind, one has to depend on that Lord. That's what he's saying. You are the controller of Maya, never conquered by material qualities. Not that you created Maya and you are also under its control. You are never conquered by it. The time element is your representation. So none of those can affect us, neither Maya or the time element, if we surrender unto you. That is why I am praying you, O dear Narsimhadev, in the 22nd verse. That's what he's saying. And thank you so much for the opportunity, dear devotees. I hope you understand that today's verses are exalted prayers. I want to discuss them. Thank you so much for understanding. And Jai Srila Prabhupada, Gandhara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Thank you so much, dear devotees. Hare Krishna. And thank you so much, Sundaran Prabhuji, for the opportunity to speak.
Yeah, thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so